The world's strangest pregnancies. Have you ever heard of nonuplets? That is, 9 babies born at the same time. In 2021, 9 babies were born to Halima Sisi, a 25-year-old from Mali. These babies broke the Guinness World Record for the most children delivered in a single birth to survive. Previously, only 2 sets of nonuplets had been recorded. One born to a woman in Australia in 1971, and another to a woman in Malaysia in 1999. But none of the babies survived for more than just a few days. What about the youngest mother in history? As amazing as it might seem, the youngest girl to ever give birth did so at only 5 years and 7 months old. Her name was Lina Medina, a Peruvian girl that gave birth in 1939. The doctors at the time estimate that she must have been menstruating since the age of 3 in order to be capable of giving birth at such a young age. Lina was brought to the hospital for what the parents thought was an abdominal tumor. While there, it was found that the young girl was pregnant with a 7-month-old fetus. Given Lina's young age, the child was born by a cesarean section. But amazingly, the baby boy survived, weighing almost 6 pounds, and was found to be in good health. As amazing as Lina's story is, Lina's not alone. A girl known only as H in 1932 gave birth at 6 years old to a 4-pound 16-ounce baby in British India. In 1931, a girl known as LP gave birth at 6 years old to a 6-pound baby fathered by her maternal grandfather in the Ukraine. In 1884, Mum Z gave birth at 8 years old. She was one of Chief Akiri's harem. She birthed a daughter that she named Z in Nigeria. Interestingly, Z, Mum Z's daughter, also gave birth at 8 years old. Mum Z became what is believed to be the youngest grandmother at the age of 17. She, from the Qing dynasty, gave birth at 8 years old and was impregnated by a 9-year-old boy in 1910. This couple became the youngest parents ever recorded to have a child in combined age. Interestingly, dozens more at ages 8, 9, and 10 years old can be added to this list. But let's see how this is possible. This is possible by a medical condition known as precocious puberty. Precocious puberty is when a child's body begins changing into that of an adult or undergoing puberty too soon. When puberty begins before the age of 8 in girls or before the age of 9 in boys, it is considered to be precocious puberty. In most cases, the process is normal in every aspect except the unusually early age and simply represents a variation of normal development. In other cases, it can be triggered by a disease, such as a tumor or trauma to the brain. Sometimes, the cause can be traced back to the hypothalamus or pituitary in the brain. This type is called either central precocious puberty, complete precocious puberty, or true precocious puberty. And what about the oldest mother known to give birth? Mangayama Yaramati, at 73 years of age, gave birth to twins in 2019. Most women reach the age of menopause by the age of 55. However, some women have a condition known as delayed menopause. A delayed or late onset menopause is when a woman reaches menopause after the age of 55. Delays can be caused by several things, including having only light and not heavy physical activity, a low consumption of polyunsaturated fats, a high consumption of total calories, a high consumption of fruits, and a high consumption of protein. Have you ever heard of getting pregnant while being pregnant? This is a phenomenon known as superfetation, and there are only around 10 cases known to exist in all of recorded medical history. This exists because it is possible to become pregnant while already pregnant, even though it's extraordinarily rare. One such case occurred when Julia Gravenberg became pregnant with her second son while she was pregnant with her first daughter. Hudson was conceived around 2 weeks after his sister's conception. A variation of superfetation can occur when there is more than one father, making it possible to carry 2 children from 2 different fathers at the same time. In 2017, an American was impregnated via an implanted embryo as she participated as a surrogate. She then became pregnant with her own partner. The 2 pregnancies were separated by about 3 weeks and technically stemmed from 2 different mothers and 2 different fathers. Sometimes a woman can have a double uterus. Some women are born with more than one uterus as a condition known as didelphys. It is extremely rare, but it is possible for some of these women to carry 2 pregnancies at the same time. People with double uteruses are at increased risk for miscarriage and preterm birth, but in some instances can have healthy pregnancies. A recent occurrence of double uterus or didelphys happened in 2010 to Angie Cromar, who managed to have 2 babies at once. However, these babies are not considered twins. Twins can form from 2 eggs and different sperm, as in fraternal twins, or a single fertilized egg that splits, becoming identical twins. In both of these cases, the twins develop in the same uterus. What's different here is the development of the fetuses occur in different uteri within the same mother. The offspring is not considered twins and are only considered mere siblings. Without a double uterus, how about carrying 2 babies from 2 different fathers? Typically, a woman will drop a single egg when she ovulates, but occasionally she may drop more than one. When this happens, one or both can become fertilized by separate sperm cells. Sperm can survive for up to 5 days following insemination, and that whole time they're just waiting to find an egg. In 2009, when a Texas woman delivered twin boys, the father noticed how different they looked and asked for a paternity test. The results were baffling because while both children were born simultaneously, they each had a different biological father. This phenomenon is called heteropaternal superfundication. This accounts for between 1 and 2% of all fraternal twins. It has resulted in the birth of twins where the children can be of different races, depending on the fathers. Another interesting world record goes to Tina and Ben Gibson, who managed to obtain 2 embryos that were stored cryogenically. Their first child came from a frozen embryo that was extracted and put on ice 24 years earlier. When they decided to have a second child, they went back to the same source, so their kids would be genetic siblings. The resulting baby came from a frozen egg donated in 1992, a full 27 years before the Gibbonsons implanted it. This is the longest period of time an egg has spent between extraction, freezing, and implantation that resulted in a viable pregnancy. More commonly is something called cryptic pregnancy or the surprise birth. Surprise births or cryptic pregnancies occur when a woman has only mild or a complete absence of pregnancy symptoms. Imagine no morning sickness, cramping, minimal abdominal swelling, and even continued menstruation. In April 2021, Melissa Surjkoff gave birth to her son while sitting on a toilet. She thought at the time that she was passing a kidney stone. Stories like this pop up every now and then. They're definitely rare, but they do happen more often than you might think. What about the longest recorded pregnancy? Most pregnancies last for an average of 280 days, which is a little more than 9 months and a day. In 1945, Beulah Hunter gave birth to her daughter Penny Diana after a whopping 375 days. That's 12.3 months. This earned Beulah Hunter a place in the record books and a story to tell for the rest of her life. Her baby was born 100 days overdue. Doctors concluded that her womb was healthy, but her daughter developed at a slower than normal rate. Her gestation indeed had a few stops and starts during the developmental process. This is why the pregnancy was able to go on for so long. Joanna Christokin, instead of having the typical 8 to 12 hours of labor pains, endured a disturbingly long 75 days of labor in 2013. Joanna holds the record for the longest labor pains ever. She went into early labor at 21 weeks while carrying triplets. The first was born soon after the pain began, but it was too early to survive, leaving the other two still inside her womb. In order to help the other two survive, her doctors placed her in a bed and tilted her at a 30-degree angle with her feet up. She remained in that position for 75 days, the entire time experiencing continued labor pains. Luckily, all the hard work did pay off. What about the longest baby ever recorded? The Bates were an exceptionally tall couple. Mrs. Bates measured 7 feet 11 inches tall, and Mr. Bates measured 7 feet 9 inches tall. The Bates baby measured 2 feet 4 inches from top to toe and weighed almost 22 pounds. Unfortunately, the baby, who was known as Babe, sadly died 11 hours later. The shortest baby ever recorded was a very small 9.44 inches long. This baby, named Nisa Juarez, weighed just 11.3 ounces or 320 grams when she was born 108 days premature in July of 2002. Luckily, she was discharged from the hospital 5 months later, in good condition. In the 18th century, it is said that one woman, known only as the first wife of Fedor Vasilyev, a peasant from Shuya, Russia, gave birth to 69 babies in her lifetime, according to Guinness World Records. However, she did not go into labor 69 times, as she gave birth to 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets. She also holds the record for the most sets of twins and quadruplets born to one mother. Interestingly, her husband went on and remarried and had 18 more children with his second wife, meaning that the man had 87 children total, we think, because there's no way to verify that he actually fathered them all. I hope you enjoyed today's topic. Thank you for watching.